You seem uncomfortable. Do I make you nervous, Corky?
No.
Thirsty, maybe.
Curious, maybe.
That's funny. I'm feeling a little bit curious myself.
Cynthia, this is all I ever dreamed about. To be owned by you. To be used by you. I can't tell you how happy I am. I never thought I could find someone like you. I never thought it would be possible. I won't let you down, Cynthia. Never. I won't let you down. As long as I'm podcasting, I remain alive. I love you, Cynthia. I love you. Welcome to Pleasers.
And Punishers.
Where we talk about movies that people love to watch.
Movies that ruin your today, tomorrow, and yesterday.
And all things kinky and queer.
I'm Caitlin of the North.
And I'm May, bloated bag of trapped wind, Schultz.
And today we're discussing the best place to install your human toilet. And we are strapping in and strapping on for our first entry in Fetish February with Peter Strickland's The Duke of Burgundy from 2014, 2015.
2014 in UK, 2015 in the US.
Starring Sisa, Babette Knudsen, and Chiara D'Anna with score by Cat's Eyes.
And since triples is best, we have a very special guest joining us today. Producer and director, Chelasea Stardust.
Hello.
Welcome, Chelsea. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Of course. So let's get started. Tell me, could you ever sleep inside a locked trunk with your hands bound?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I was coming up with these questions last night, and my roommate, who I watched the movie with, because she's the one who owns it, was like, what are you going to do if you ask this question and everyone's just like, yeah, I've already done it. So I think she'll be pleased to know that basically happened.
I will say, abso-fucking-lutely not. No way I am doing that.
I have a very interesting relationship with sensory deprivation where when I'm doing it voluntarily, it can be very enjoyable for me. When I was a kid, I used to put on like a bunch of coats in the closet and close the door and like put like goggles on and stuff or like a snorkeling mask or something. My parents had weird shit in their closets. and I found that very comforting because I was the one putting myself in that situation. I've never had anyone do that to me as part of a scene. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. Physically, probably not. My body's garbage. I think if you listen to this podcast, you know I have garbage body, and I am constantly in pain. So I don't think sleeping inside of a trunk would be very good for me.
For me, it's like I'm like slightly claustrophobic. Mm-hmm. And actually the idea of I am trapped like a rat. Mm-hmm. I've been saying this a lot recently, too. I don't know. Streets of Seattle, there's always construction. I'm like, why is there a fence right here? Why can't I only go this way? I feel so trapped right now. It's not fun for me. I would sleep with my hands bound, though. I will give it that much.
So you'll do that part. Chelsea, do you want to elaborate on your answer? You don't have to.
I have done sensory deprivation tanks before, where you're in the water, you know, everything's turned off. Like I've done that before. I liked it. It was when I opened my eyes, I had an issue because I felt like I was falling. It was like very strange because you're floating.
Right.
So I was in something where your body is weightless. And so that was a very strange sensation. So as long as I kept my eyes closed, I was all right. If you're going to put me in there, just make sure I've got my eye mask on. Then I'll be good. Also, as someone who like gets an MRI almost every year, I can handle less claustrophobic. I'm really good at yoga breathing. So that's gotten me through it. But yeah, I could probably, I mean, my hips are kind of big, so you'd have to accommodate that. But if it'll, as long as I'm not like
all smushed
as long as
up,
it's not like a coffin,
yeah,
then I'm okay.
Yeah, I love our art house movie theater here in Chicago, the Music Box, but they redid the whole auditorium last year, the year before, but they didn't make the seats wider. And like I've gotten a bit thicker in the last couple of years. I've always had a big butt, but like the rest of me has gotten thicker, and I'm finding that I'm having a harder and harder time just sitting there and watching a movie because I have to like, you know, especially I've got big boobs too. I have to like squish everything in and like hold my arms like this the whole movie. And then when I get up to leave, I'm like, like a fucking transformer.
Why renovate that theater? My movie played there, so I love that theater. But why renovate that theater if you're not going to upgrade things in a big way?
They upgraded some things, and like it looks great. It sounds great. But yeah, I wish they would have taken out, like, I don't know, take out 20 seats or something and make it so all of the seats have a little bit more room for us girls with bigger hips.
Yes.
Well, speaking of girls with nice hips, let's get into some role play.
Is that your bathing suit? Is that your overbite?
Now, one of you will be the drowning victim, and the other one gets to be our lifesaver.
I'll be the victim all your life.
I don't think that has ever applied more than it does to this movie right now.
Yep, certainly. All right, listeners, I said this off air before we started recording, but I'm just letting you know I might cry a bit during this episode, so here's your warning. I apologize in advance.
Never apologize for crying.
Okay, I'll try. After a lovely credit sequence that introduces us to the small town in which she lives, Evelyn arrives at her mentor Cynthia's house, under whom she studies lepidopterology, or moths and butterflies. She is also Cynthia's service sub and lover. I just need y'all to know, I went into this movie completely blind, other than knowing it was sapphic and there was some kind of kink in it. Mm-hmm. And when I figured out what was going on, I paused the movie and I turned to Maeve and I went, "Is this about a toxic DS relationship?" and she went, "Maybe." And I went, I'm gonna cry during this movie, aren't I?" And she went, "Maybe."
I do want to say I love all of the bicycle riding. I had written to May, I was like, oh, how many like 1970s lesbian vampire movies have I seen that just start this way?
And we'll talk more about that later in your section. When Evelyn fails to complete a task, she is, quote-unquote, punished by Cynthia. The first example of this is heard, not shown, when Cynthia pisses in Evelyn's mouth. In the evening, Cynthia removes her wig, as well as her dominant personality, and the two snuggle up in bed. A whispered internal monologue, which I sort of recreated at the top of the episode, tells us more about Evelyn's desires, and we see written instructions from her to Cynthia, exposing that while she is the sub, she is actually the one pulling the strings.
Twist. Like, was that 20, 25 minutes in, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, what is going on?
I cannot imagine doing this as like a 99% submissive person. I cannot imagine giving someone instructions this specific on how to dom me without it just being like a one-time conversation about like boundaries and limits, as opposed to like, I'm going to give you written instructions every day for our scenes.
A whole play.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's a dynamic that I have not personally experienced, and I hadn't really thought about previous to this, so it was a little bit eye-opening for me. In bed one morning, Cynthia attempts to be sweet and genuine, but Evelyn requests verbal domination instead, eventually coming to climax. Evelyn has some constructive criticism for Cynthia. Jesus Christ. At a lecture on lepidopterology, Evelyn embarrasses both herself and Cynthia by being a know-it-all and getting things wrong. I was cringing so hard at this. It made me feel so bad for both of them. Because, like, I'm sure both of you know that feeling of, like, thinking you are right about something and wanting to, like, prove you're right, kind of to impress somebody. And then you make a fool of yourself, and then they feel embarrassed, and you're just like, oh God, what did I do?
I've never experienced that at all, May. What are you talking about?
Sure.
just so I will stand here in my wrongness.
Soon after, the sexiest carpenter I have ever seen in my life.
Oh my God.
So hot.
I was like, who is this woman? What is she doing here? And I was like, oh, she's a carpenter who makes fetish furniture. This is the most amazing job ever. I want this to be my job. So she arrives to measure Cynthia's bed and Evelyn's body in order to create a space for Evelyn to sleep in as punishment beneath the mattress. But the production time would be too long, and so Evelyn rejects it as a birthday gift. This part broke my heart a little bit. I was just like, the disappointment on her face was so palpable, and the frustration on Cynthia's face was so palpable. She does, however, find a chest that will be suitable, or a trunk. I guess I did not name it consistently. A chest, a trunk, one of those big things that opens and a person can fit inside. As they are moving it into the bedroom, Cynthia injures her back. They negotiate Evelyn's newest instructions, and Cynthia seems both unenthused and frustrated. In the evening, she binds Evelyn's hands and closes her in the trunk. During the night, Evelyn invokes their safe word, penostri, a type of moth, of course, because she has gotten a mosquito bite, and Cynthia insists that she come to bed. Still in pain on another evening, Cynthia simply wants to be comfortable and is teased by Evelyn for her shabby look, and the dynamic between the two begins to get messy.
I was like, I don't know what is your problem with those those pajamas.
Those comfy PJs.
Well, it's because I'll say that for later.
I know why, but we know why. I'm just like, but why?
Yeah. Hey, everyone's allowed to be comfy.
It's easier to top when you're comfortable.
Yeah, that's true.
Truth.
I say that as if I know. Cynthia confronts Evelyn about Lorna, their neighbor, having seen Evelyn polishing Dr. Schuller's boots, and Evelyn at first lies about it before confessing her betrayal. Bad move, girl. For Evelyn's birthday, Cynthia requires that she make her own birthday cake.
Boom.
Just
what a flex.
Talk about just desserts. Clad in her pajamas, Cynthia eats the cake while using Evelyn's face as a footrest, ignoring her call of penostri. In a dream, Cynthia opens the trunk to find a skeleton inside before walking out into the woods, where she finds it again, but this time with Evelyn inside.
I do want to say that cake, she's eating it off the cake stand, and yes. I'm like, gorgeous, excellent. I'm not putting this on a plate. I am right from the cake stand.
Well, and she doesn't put the cake stand down on anything. She is holding the cake stand while eating. Just incredible.
Into it.
As they go about their daily rituals and usual scenes, Cynthia eventually breaks down, and Evelyn offers unexpected softness and kindness, stating that their kink arrangement is a luxury, and what's most important to her is Cynthia. The film ends at the beginning of another day, with Cynthia preparing for Evelyn's arrival. All right, y'all, tell me, do you think this is a happy ending?
Yes and no. The whole movie's, so much of the movie is about compromise, and that is the entire movie is about compromise. But I want to say no, because Evelyn, it's like a compulsion for her. It's an obsession. And that's not the case for Cynthia. And so I think they're sort of, they get kind of off track, and they're trying to get back on track. And you can kind of tell on Evelyn's face, she loves this, what it is, but whenever it's not what this is, whenever they're trying to not be in this, because it's a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle.
Right.
And I don't know if she can keep going if Cynthia isn't all in. I don't know if Evelyn can, Because again, it's an obsession for one and not for the other.
Right.
So is Cynthia able to compromise enough to satisfy that? But then she's sort of, it's because Evelyn, what is it, wears the pants even though she washes the knickers.
Right.
Like that, you know?
Oh, I love that. That's delightful.
I'm stealing that. But that's my sort of takeaway at the end of it, only because it's an obsession for one and like needs to be this lifestyle, and it's not really for the other, even though Cynthia loves her so much and there is like true love there. I don't know. I don't know if it's a happy ending or it's just here's another road we're going down. Like we got through, we did this, we were able to traverse this path, and now there's a new path. Can we traverse this? That's my 10 cents.
Yeah. What do you think, Caitlin?
I pretty much agree with everything you just said, that it feels like a bittersweet ending. Kind of. I don't feel like it is a happy ending because I don't think sexually they are going to be able to give each other what they want. And with Evelyn, like you said, she's fine being the sub role as long as she is the one controlling everything. At the same time. And so, like, with the cake eating, when she starts going, panastri, and it's like, because you have gone off script.
Yeah.
And she keeps going.
And she keeps going?
She said that. Doesn't care about the safe word. Like, there's a great Q&A with Peter Strickland and the actors who play Evelyn and Cynthia. And the actress who plays Evelyn talks about, in her eyes, Cynthia is like one of the butterflies. She's beautiful, but she's pinned in by the lingerie. And it's her the parallel between the butterflies, but that Cynthia is truly pinned in to this relationship, which I thought to be very fascinating.
Yeah. That feels so accurate.
But you see it comes through. It's tangible.
Yeah, for sure. It's very apparent in the way these actions are portrayed. Yeah. And I agree. I think this is kind of a mixed ending. If they can find a balance, I think it can work for them because they do have a lot of love between them. But I don't think it's something that can be 24/7 for Cynthia, which is what Evelyn wants. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. I feel like I say that a lot.
I know. I was like, sometimes we should.
I'm just building anticipation. Sorry,
Say it.
Say it.
Patient.
Boom.
God, I haven't seen Rocky Horror in the theater for the last year or two, and I miss it. Okay. So now that you've told me that, tell me, what was your first experience with this film, Chelsea?
I got to see this in the theater here in Los Angeles at a theater that's now called Brain Dead Studios. It was under a different name when I saw it, different ownership on Fairfax. And it was screening like one night. I want to say it was 2015. And I had been wanting to see it because I saw the trailer and I'm a huge fan of this director. And so I saw the trailer and I thought, this movie looks so fucking hot. Oh my God, I'm not prepared. And then saw it in the theater. And I love all cinema. Obviously, everyone knows me for my love of the horror genre, but I love art house movies. I love indie movies. And I saw that movie and immediately sought out the soundtrack, which is behind me on vinyl.
Yep. I need to get that.
I love that you always, you have to get it. I love that you always credit score on your podcast. Very important. But that score, it's just music is, I mean, obviously is so important in cinema. And as someone who also loves film scores, it brings you into the world in such a beautiful way in that opening that you immediately know, oh, okay, I absolutely understand the tone of this movie and what I'm getting myself into. And I was blown away by it. I was so inspired by it. And it made me, I was watching it and I was also jealous because I thought, wow, this director got to do exactly what he fucking wanted to do. And I'm so jealous that it is so, like, even when I was watching the credits of the movie, you know, it's talking about the lingerie and the costuming and the production design, which they also had to do on a budget. So they had to be very creative about how they did some of that. But I know the actors were in 3 days in the fitting room to get all those outfits perfect. And I just thought, wow, this is someone's true vision of what they want this movie to be, and your actors are on board, and it's so beautifully executed and beautifully directed. And having heard the actors and the filmmaker talk about it, there was definitely like a very good communication and relationship between them, making it safe, making the whole situation safe. And you can feel that love and that trust. There's such trust there on many levels.
Yeah.
So I never get to talk about this movie. So that's why when I saw that it was available to talk about, I was so excited. And of course, rewatching it was such a treat. And also I'm a sucker for any shit with like butterflies and moths. I love that. So it's such a beautiful touch, and sort of metaphors throughout that connect with that too, whether that's intentional or not. I could go on and on, even down to like, I know he's talked about the perfume credit in the movie. There's perfume credited, which he stole from an Audrey Hepburn movie called Paris When It Sizzles. So even that kind of like touch, when you see those credits, you're like, I know exactly what I'm getting myself into.
Yeah.
So I just say it's also very underrated. I don't hear a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah. This should have been the Bound of the 2010s.
Oh, totally.
You know,
Absolutely.
You've got a possibly problematic sapphic couple who are navigating their relationship along with pressures from the outside world. And, you know, this one's not a neo-noir crime thriller. It's an erotic drama, but it has that same sense of, it feels so visceral in terms of the sapphic relationship at its core. This was my first watch, and like I said, I cried a lot during the movie, and part of that is that I am dealing with the dissolution of a very unique relationship in my life that was originally a romantic partnership and then moved to a space where it was like a balance of friend, sister, partner for years. And this is someone that I am still doing all of her chores and her grocery shopping and those servicey things, and I'm not getting any joy out of it anymore. And this is a new development. This is like 2 weeks ago this changed, and it's been extremely painful and extremely difficult for a lot of reasons, and trying to navigate that and trying to figure out what my part in things going wrong was, you know, how much responsibility do I hold in this situation? And watching these two characters, I saw myself in both of them at times, and I saw her in both of them at times. And the line that really destroyed me was when Cynthia starts crying and Evelyn is trying to comfort her, and Cynthia says, "What if you resent me?"
Yeah.
And Evelyn says, "How could I resent you? I love you." And that's what I started sobbing. It's such a kind thing to say, especially within that context. And to say, like, even if you can't meet every single one of my needs, that doesn't mean I resent you. And I would have killed to hear that from this person. So that's my story with this film, and I'm sure I'll talk more about that as we continue. What about you, Caitlin?
Okay, first of all, I am almost positive I was like, oh, Peter Greenaway has a new film coming out.
It's okay. Wait, I've mixed up Peter Greenaway and Peter Strickland before.
Yeah. I was like, oh, the Pillow Book. What's that? So when I first read about this, I don't even know where I read about this. It's just at a time I'm like mainlining pop culture as much as possible. I'm just reading from various sites. And I was like, lesbian fetish movie? Yes, count me in, 100%. Let's go. I don't think I got to see this in theaters. The moment it hit streaming, though, I was there. I have a feeling that I watched this by myself first and went, this was incredible. The way it plays with your expectations of like who these women are, their relationship, consent, give and take. And that like, then Brian came home. I was like, guess what we're watching? Same night, let's go. I had actually rewatched it a few months ago, and I was like, oh my God, May, I'm watching the Duke of Burgundy. I love this movie. And I knew it. I've never seen it. I went, well, let's go it on the list. So I was just saying, the way this relationship was presented was just so unique. and different from anything I've seen really before or since with the dynamics between the two.
Excellent. Well, let's find out more about this movie in our next section, Faith and Chance.
I can't exist by myself because I'm afraid of myself, because I'm the maker of my own evil. Goodness is only some kind of reflection upon evil. That's all it is.
Caitlin, take me away.
Before we get into some of the background in the movie, let's talk about queers and BDSM.
Okay.
Yes! So, I just typed into a search bar, lesbian, fetish, documentary, go.
Oh, yes.
And the first thing that popped up was Blood Sisters, Leather Dykes and Sadomasochism. It's a 1995 documentary written and directed by Michelle Handelman. It can be streamed on Canopy.
Support your local library.
Yes.
Funny story. So can the Duke of Burgundy. So I was already right there.
Yes.
This film focuses on a group of self-identified leather dykes active in San Francisco's BDSM scene in the mid-90s. So we're talking like 93, 94, 95-ish. And it is, so cool to hear everyone speak and talk about that kind of, that relationship that can be very hard with BDSM and feminism, particularly. And I know that there are people out there who are like, this is not feminist.
Oh, yeah. And
one of the people who has a large role is author and activist, now Patrick Califia. Filmed prior to Patrick's transition. At the time, he was identifying as a lesbian. He now identifies as a bisexual trans man. And he says that in this documentary, like most of the women that he knew, they just refer to it as the SM subculture, it's the 90s, were not dykes. Speaking about his work in the early mid-70s, the consensus in feminist circles was that SM was, quote, an offshoot of the patriarchy. If you were a masochist, that was a disease that feminism could cure. If you were sexually different, you were going to be driven out of that community in a really definite and cruel way. There is a lot of talk of, like, you are now politicizing, like, my sex life found within this documentary as well. This idea, though, that, okay, but now we're lesbians. And this really throws a wrench into kind of the simplistic theory of sexism and power dynamics that a lot of, like, straight women had at the time.
Well, yeah, because everything in the sexual landscape was designed around cis heteronormativity, you know? The man is the penetrating dominant partner and the woman is the receiving submissive partner. And, you know, there's so much more nuance to that.
There's just more nuance to that. Yeah. There is one woman in the Skeeter. Skeeter did scare the shit out of me. Skeeter was the only one in this documentary I was like, oh, you might be a bit much for me. My goodness. But Skeeter talks about, like, I started having sex with women at a very young age, and I'd never had sex with a man, but I liked topping, I liked kind of rougher sex, and she was told quite frequently, like, oh, you have sex like a man. She's like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
What does that mean?
Yeah. Heavy sigh.
Yep. Which, you know, and this all also plays into, within the communities too, this idea of, like, butch femme tops and bottoms.
Right. And then you also have like dom sub switch and the conflation between terms. Because I always say I am a verse sub. If we're talking about penetrative sex, I'm fine to top or to bottom. I enjoy both equally. Obviously, topping takes a lot less preparation for me. And that's why I tend to do that most of the time. But if we're doing kink or even just if we're having sex in the bedroom, I'm not going to be dominant. That's never going to happen. If you want me to hit you with things, I can do that, and I can do that very well. But I'm not going to be able to provide the emotional domination. I can just leave really nice bruises and tell you you're a good girl, and like I will mean that, but it doesn't usually mean as much coming from a sub. is what I've found. Whereas like someone who I don't even have a sexual or kink relationship with can call me a good girl and I will turn into a puddle on the floor.
I love that. And then the idea of like top is always dominant, or like
Right.
Oh, yeah.
bottom is always as submissive. But as we know, people can top from the bottom. You can bottom from the top. We have pushy bottoms. This movie is all about a sub. Pushy.
Yep.
And you can have a passive top. One of the things that I believe it was Tova Sewell said, to me, a top and a bottom is like, are you doing something to someone, or are they doing it to you? And that is it.
Yep.
That's the difference. It doesn't have to be all wrapped up in butch and femme. It doesn't have to be wrapped up in that there are many different ways to top and to bottom. Which, again, bringing this into a woman, lesbian,
Sapphic.
thank you. I know, it was really hard, especially with our friend JC Collins, who I'm about to get to here, but there are a lot of ideas with this, and sapphic relationships really, again, what does that mean? So yes, I have JC Collins here, which, treating a dream. Honestly, I believe she's a photographer. When we meet JC, she's telling us that she doesn't identify as a lesbian. She's like, I'm adjacent to lesbians, but I am a dyke. I am full on. I am a dyke. I was a tough S&M leather dyke, and I was like, yeah. But she had a friend who like connected her with this woman. They eventually went home, and quote is from JC, she shoved her fist in my cunt and I knew I was home. And I just went, no notes, really. No notes. Like, again, you thought you were the dominant one. You just got fisted. And another point, she goes, speaking with tops and bottoms, to top them, you have to reach inside their head and find out what scares them and push those buttons. And that's an incredible thing to have someone let you do, and to be able to take those things that scare them and let them see that they're not going to die if they get scared, and that they can be scared and people will still love them and take care of them and it'll be okay. And I was like,
Yeah.
Oh my God, a healthy kink dynamic? Who knew?
I recommend watching it. It's pretty short. It was very ahead of its time. They talk about the March on Washington that happened. And a lot of them were like, no one was there. All the politicians went home. It was the weekend. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Bill Clinton.
I think I saw this.
Hillary.
Oh my God.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that.
I think I saw this in college, and I'd actually, so much time has passed that I saw this. I was like, oh my God, yes. Then I was kicking myself because I thought, fuck, I should have remembered and watched this before this. So when I saw it on the doc, I thought, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And I'm so glad it exists on I think I saw it on VHS or something, that it exists on Canopy, and that it's accessible to people too to see.
I think especially for the young queers that are around now, it's really important to know your queer history and to know where things are coming from and like what our queer elders have done for us. And I feel like a lot of younger queers, I'm not trying to be old lady yells at cloud, but I feel like a lot of younger queers these days don't want to dig into that history. They don't want to look at it because they know there's some ugliness there and they know there's so much loss there. And it's like, you still have to know. You have to know where you came from. You have to know who your predecessors are so that you can learn from them. So if you are a younger queer listening to this, please seek out this doc. I have known about it for a while, but I've never watched it. I need to figure out if Maeve's library card can get us on Canopy, because like there's a thing where it's like Chicago, depending on where you have your library card, it'll work with Canopy or Hoopla, but not both.
Yeah.
And it's
Mine
really
works with
annoying.
both. So check.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What else we got here, Caitlin?
I was going to say, speaking of knowing your history and the people who have come before you, we do have a little section here on Jess motherfucking Franco. Jesus Franco.
I may have written that line personally.
Did. And I nailed it.
I have been watching a lot of Jess Franco movies, especially lately, but also in the last year or so. And I saw Lorna the Exorcist on Tuesday night at the theater for Terror Tuesday.
Shut the fuck up.
And I did not know before this movie that it had any connections to Jess Franco. So we put it on, and something happened during the opening credits. And I went, did Peter Strickland like Jess Franco? And Maeve was like, oh yeah, this movie is like a love letter to Jess Franco. And I was like, oh,
it was conceived as a remake of Lorna the Exorcist.
Yeah, which is really interesting.
What timing?
Yeah. Chelsea, have you seen Lorna the Exorcist?
I have not seen that one.
I haven't either.
I've seen kind of the bigger ones, Vampires Lesbian. I've seen like 99 Women. Like there's a couple I've seen.
She killed an
heavier hitters that are like kind of more accessible.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. They like to hide anything that's away. They want to hide that they don't make it as accessible as they should, but it's getting better.
Yes, it is. And a lot of that is thanks to
it poses a threat.
Places like Severin who do a lot of Jess Franco restorations. So if Lorna the Exorcist is streaming anywhere, I don't remember if it is.
It is not.
Okay, it's not. Well, seek it out. Seek out the Severin disc. So far, of all of the Franco movies I've seen, it is my favorite.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to see
something. Yeah, and like I saw Female Vampire 2 weeks ago, which I liked, but I did not love as much as I thought I was going to. It did not hit me the way I wanted it to. But Lorna the Exorcist did. And so having that context from Tuesday night and then watching Duke of Burgundy on Wednesday, I was just like, oh, these movies go very well together.
And we have Monica Swinn, who was cast as Lorna in the Duke of Burgundy, who is best known for European softcore films of the 70s. She was in 20 Jess Franco movies.
Mm-hmm.
Of Wikipedia's like, and some included some hardcore lesbian sex. I was like, wait, which ones?
Which ones are those? Let me read it.
Do you have a list?
I would highly recommend you check out Shining Sex, another Jess Franco movie that I just watched, which I have not seen Under the Skin, but I vaguely know what it's about. And it is very clear that Jonathan Glazer took a lot of inspiration from Shining Sex, which is softcore, but like, I think if you're seeing an erect dick and like someone actively getting fingered, I think that is a little more than softcore. Personally.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I feel like softcore is like boobs, butt, and bush. And
you're not
once
actually
you get
seeing anything going
that,
into anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted to just talk about the way this movie looks and feels. The dreamlike nature of it,
you don't really know in time and place you're in.
Yeah, the cinematography, everything about it feels like a love letter to Jess Franco. And I think that's just so incredible that someone can make something that is so reverential to another artist's work while still also having it feel entirely their own. And I think Strickland really achieves that here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the moral of the story is watch more Jess Franco movies.
That's your homework.
History.
And go listen to the Tender Subject episode that we did on The Awful Dr. Orloff and Faceless as a double feature.
What fun.
It was. We had a really fun episode.
That. The only other thing that I wrote down here was mole crickets. Which I know could be, what the fuck is a mole cricket? Peter Strickland, I read an interview where he talks about like David Lynch, Peter Greenaway, a lot of other directors he's like who are very influenced by like paintings. And he's like, I like to do my movies like a song. I am more interested in like following that structure, which I think is why when you come back to the chorus, I said the panties are the chorus.
Yeah.
we're touching on, there is repetition there, but the way it is, he really likes sound. I mean, obviously Barbarian sound.
And there's a rhythm. There's a rhythm to the movie that I think really comes through. I mean, this is a movie where every frame is art, but you could hang any frame of this movie on your wall.
And I happily would.
Yeah, absolutely. But there is a rhythm, what you're saying, there's a cadence to it that really comes through in this really beautiful way. The sound design and score together is so incredible. It's just so beautiful.
The way that cat was purring, I was getting very confused at certain points. Because I have a cat that purrs very loudly too. And I was like, wait, who? What?
See, and we were watching it in surround. And so it's like there's some shots where the cat is just like purring behind you. And I like, my cat was sitting next to me. And I was just like, wait, what's happening?
So Peter Strickland actually made a record that's all like mole cricket sounds.
Yes.
Like the songs of the mole crickets. And he said, nobody bought it. I don't know if it's still available anywhere. But I was just so fascinated. He's like, I think he says because it's like crickets and you can't tell the difference between this one and a different one except by sound. And he just found that so fascinating, which is so when it comes up in the movie with the veneration of the, I mean, when Evelyn is standing there in her wrongness, when I found out about the mole crickets and how just fascinated he is by that.
That's very cute.
That's really good.
I love that.
I like that a lot. The only other thing I want to say about the sound design and score as someone whose like dream is to do that for films, every sound in this movie is so intentional.
Yeah.
And also feels so natural. Nothing feels forced. And that is like, it's very interesting having that juxtaposed against the conflict that is brewing between these two women and the conflict that exists within Cynthia. And I don't know, I love when two opposing things are smushed together like that to create something that really stirs up emotions in you. And we've mentioned Barbarian Sound Studio. That movie is Strickland's love letter to Giallo, an Italian horror exploitation films of the 70s. And the score for that was done by Broadcast, who are one of my favorite bands in existence. And this score was done by Cat's Eyes, which is Ferris Baldwin. I don't remember if I'm pronouncing his name properly, from The Horrors. And then I forgot to write her name down, but she's a composer, multi-instrumentalist, and soprano. And it honestly sounds like they are channeling Broadcast. And part of me wonders if Strickland would have used Broadcast again if Trish had not died right after Barbarian Sound Studio. R.I.P. Trish, I miss your voice. But this score is just so lush and incredible, and it uses this fusion of analog and electronic sounds, and you have so many beautiful insect sounds that occur through the movie as well, and it just makes this world so immersive.
I will say sometimes with the insect sounds, because I don't want a flying insect to get stuck in my hair. I have very curly hair. It has happened before.
That's a reasonable fear.
Made fun of in school like once or twice because, a bug got in my hair and couldn't get out.
No.
So sometimes when I hear the flapping, I'm like, blah. But I like how it's used in the movie.
So good.
Well, what did other people think of this movie?
Well, so this has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Good.
Which I feel correct.
Wow.
IMDb, it's a 6.5 out of 10, which how dare you?
Also, everyone's a critic.
Yes.
Right. And then Letterboxd, and I was kind of surprised about this, is a 3.6 out of 5 or 7.2 out of 10. And I was like, yeah.
That's staggeringly low for a movie like this on Letterboxd.
This is why I don't have Letterboxd. This is why I don't look at Rotten Tomatoes. This is why I don't read reviews. This is why I don't do any of this shit.
Yeah.
This is wrong.
Yeah.
These people are all wrong. Sorry,
this was
wrong.
an immediate 5-star movie for me. I'm literally sitting there sobbing as the credits are rolling, and I'm like pulling up Letterboxd to start my review, and I'm like 5 stars.
Yep, 5-star film for me as well. So at least I'm logged in there.
Yeah, there we go. Well, speaking of things that people are wrong about, let's make out money. Well, now we'll dig into the meat, the goo, and the viscera in a section we call Enough is a Myth.
No. I've done enough.
Enough is a myth.
All right, friends. This film has 0 men in its cast, even filling some seats at the lecture hall with mannequins. What do you think it would be like to live in this world without men?
That's what this world is built for. There's no place for them there. It's interesting, though, when the first draft of the script, this Q&A I'd seen with Peter, they were asking him this very question. He said, well, the first script was both sexes in a relationship and having jobs and all this stuff. And then it kind of, I just, again, this is where I have such respect for, he looked at it and he thought, yeah, this isn't working. I need to change it. And so I'm going to dive into this element of it and change all this other shit. And I find that to be very brave in the sense that the other version is the easier version. This is the harder version.
Yep.
And I have such respect for that. Oddly enough, it makes me think about, pardon me, I'm going to go on a little bit of a soapbox tangent.
Please do. We love those.
This made me think about in The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, one of the greatest movies of all time, which is all men in that movie. There is no women.
Which I also watched earlier this week.
It's a flawless film, and I do not think there is a place for a woman in that movie. Just like in this movie, I do not think there is a place for a man in this movie because it completely changes everything about the movie, and what you have built, I think, especially in this movie, topples down, and it just doesn't give it the strength that it deserves and needs. And I encounter something in a lot of movies I watch that tends to be in like bigger action movies, where this can sometimes be in sports biopics and things like that. Any biopic really, where if it's about a man and they put a woman in the they give him a partner, or there's a woman somewhere in the equation, she's so poorly developed and has nothing, does not serve the story whatsoever.
No.
Like, if you remove that character, is the story still exactly the same? And so much of the time I see this, and it's wild because we're really trying for representation, for diversity, for all of these things. But if you're not going to give me this character something to do that really matters, I'd rather you not even put it in. I'd rather you not even write this woman in if she's just going to be the nag, the this, the that, the stereotypical, the girlfriend, and they're all the exact fucking same.
Yeah, diversity for diversity's sake is,
and it's performative.
Pointless. Yeah, it's performative and it's pointless.
They're like, oh, we got to put a woman in here, and it just annoys the shit out of me. But again, I'm like, I'd rather you not do it. I'd rather you not do it than insult me. And again, this isn't every movie, but it's sometimes like I'll be watching something with my partner and say, oh, geez, just end it now. I can't handle this. So most of the time there is care taken with that, as opposed to, oh, we just got to check this box.
Right.
But this movie, absolutely, and I love that. I love that scene with the mannequins multiple times. You look and see that. So it's like, this is kind of genius, and shows you that this isn't a movie that takes place in reality. But I love it so much. I'm so glad that's the structure, that he stuck with it, that he chose to take the harder path with this, and I love it. I love it, and I'm here for it.
Excellent.
Off soapbox.
No, that was
Yes.
fantastic. And like, I love that that's how you answered this question. And hilariously, when I was watching the thing the other night, I was telling Maeve, my roommate, that I had recently seen a review for it on Letterboxd where someone said, I didn't like this movie. There were no women in it. And I'm just like, every story is different. You have the characters that are necessary to telling that story. And of course, there were people in like the comments of this review saying, well, you know, back then there weren't enough women scientists for any of them to be in Antarctica. And like someone was like, oh, women wouldn't be able to handle this harsh weather conditions. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Those with vaginas only push out fucking babies. Couldn't handle harsh conditions.
But they tried to do that. They tried it with the Thing remake, and it does not work because, and even the original The Thing from the 50s, yeah, that one too, there's a woman in that, in both of those, the prequel or whatever it is, remake, and that one, and it changes the entire dynamic because now the men, got to be a hero, got to save the woman, that's got to be a focus. Oh, you can't fight these aliens because you're a woman. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Again,
fuck you.
I'd rather not be in it. I'd rather not see that. Because I want to see them fight this and not have any distractions. Oh, it's like, oh, who's dating her? Who's sleeping with her? Who's this? Who's that?
And that was one of like the reasons, like Strickland. I almost said Greenland. Jesus, Strickland.
Oh no,
we're not talking about Greenland.
Strickland was like, this isn't working because when you have the gender dynamics there as well, it's distracting from what he's like the story he actually wants to tell and what he's trying to say. To your point, Chelsea, I forgot about the mannequins. It reminds me a lot of The Witches, the original, where when you go, I mean, I do have some issues with that as a deeply anti-Semitic text, but
yes.
Uh-uh.
The book, yes. The movie, I don't find anti-Semitic, which is nice. It's, you know.
They're doing their best with source material.
Roald Dahl is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Roald Dahl is problematic, just like H.P. Lovecraft is problematic.
Yes. Recognizing that.
We are recognizing that in this conversation.
And in the movie, the original Witches, when they go over to all of the women, and there are definitely men in drag. Yeah, like everyone is a woman in this, except for obviously our little boy Mouse who's running around.
Yeah.
But this actually really reminded me of The Witches. I was like, that's so funny. That is so funny. It takes out a lot of additional conflict that didn't need to be there.
It distracts you.
Distracting. It would have been distracting.
It is not something that needs to be a part of this world for the story they're telling. And I mean, yeah, is it nice to fantasize about the idea of living in a world without men sometimes? Yeah, sure. But women can still be absolute pieces of shit too. Everyone can be a piece of shit. And that's the thing. Everyone is a different person, and it doesn't matter what gender you are. You can still be an asshole. And it's also really easy to choose not to be an asshole.
Yep.
And I wish more people would make that choice.
That wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No, it is easy to not be an asshole. Most people just go, no, I'd rather be an asshole.
I'd rather be, absolutely.
Yeah, not realizing that it actually takes more effort.
I will not go out of my way to, Right? Yeah. Oh, my God.
So, speaking of relationship conflicts, in one scene, Cynthia appears to display jealousy at Evelyn's service for Dr. Schuler. Do you think if they were able to be non-monogamous, at least within the context of their kink relationship, it would help balance things out for both Evelyn and Cynthia, or would it cause more problems?
I want to say if consensual, both parties in agreement, I think it would be beneficial. It would be helpful. I actually thought that when watching the movie. I was like, if this was a sequel or it had another act to it, I could see that happening if both parties were in agreement. Because also, like, as we see in the movie, Cynthia sometimes wants those jammies and a little break. But Evelyn, she wants to maintain it. And so that's her sacrifice, is like, okay, for my partner, again, the compromise being made on her end. But she, polishing the boots. Yeah, I think I think so. I almost think like that's the song. You guys should talk it through. You ladies should talk it through and see if this might give it a try. I very much wanted them to give it a try.
Yeah, Caitlin and I are both non-monogamous people, and romantic comedies, as much as I love them sometimes, like the new one that came out last year with Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and Pedro Pascal. Yes. I have absolutely zero interest in that movie because I'm like, why should she have to choose between these two men? That new movie, Eternity, where like in the afterlife, someone has to choose between her husband who she was with for most of her life or her first husband who had died like 50 years previous or something. And it's like, both is good. Yeah. There are options for people that aren't just, you have to choose exactly one person to be with for the rest of your life. And I think a lot of romantic comedy plots just completely fall apart under that idea that non-monogamy can be done.
Yeah. And I actually...
Yeah. Right. Absolutely. I don't think we are built to be monogamous necessarily. I choose to be monogamous with my partner, but I do not believe in the concept of monogamy and that everyone should do that, should do that. I don't believe in that at all. It causes more issues than it resolves. But
it absolutely does.
Again, that's just something, and that goes into a like deep societal, patriarchal, fucking deeper discussion of like, this is what you are told to do and what you should always do. Yeah. And if you don't do that, you're a weirdo and it'll never work out and like all this shit. But I don't think human beings are meant to be or built to be monogamous. It's just what you're told to do since the beginning of time, basically.
Right.
But I choose it with my partner. But we talk about this. We're like, yeah, I think monogamy is a fucking construct, and it's I have a lot of strong feelings about it.
Well, and again, that's a negotiated thing. You've both agreed to be monogamous with each other because it works for you, while also acknowledging that monogamy is like an overarching structural function of society is not healthy or appropriate for everybody. Yeah. So I think that is a very enlightened view of it, and I admire y'all for that.
Like you said, if both partners are on board, if you are, and you have your boundaries set and you're like, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I'm not comfortable with, 100%. Like the way we practice non-monogamy a lot, because I've been with my partner now for 14 years. Woo. Good for him. Is like at one point he very much recognized like, you are bisexual, you want to have non-male relationships with people and non-male sex. And I'm like, yes, you are correct. He's like, oh my God, I'm glad he doesn't listen to this. He gets so red. He's just like, he blushes like crazy. But he was just like, if I can be a part of it, great. But if not, like, I get it. And I want to support you in this. And I was just like, fuck yeah, look at you. Yeah. This is very exciting for me. Very exciting for all of us,
Yeah. 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 I mean, as someone who feels compersion a lot, anytime I've had a partner in a non-monogamous situation, I get so excited when they get to have relationships, have great sex with other people, because I want them to enjoy themselves. And, if they want to share it with me, if they want to tell me about it, that is very exciting for me. And if they don't, that's okay too, as long as there's honesty and transparency there.
It's the only way it works.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have to have honesty and transparency. I feel like with Evelyn and Cynthia, though, I don't know if Cynthia would be into it. I just feel like...
Yeah. I think if it was just for kink and not a romantically non-monogamous situation, but just like if Cynthia could be her lover and partner, and Evelyn could go and have other play partners for the times that Cynthia needs a break, that she needs to take off that costume, essentially. Because it's like, I don't know.
I mean, because I've also said, like, I don't want to necessarily be in a relationship with anyone else. Like, I like having sex with other people, but being in a relationship with someone else, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
But
So
you also have like very deep friendships with people
Yes.
in the same way that I do. And I consider myself a relationship anarchist where my friends and my partners are equally important to me. It's the difference for me is, am I having sex with this person or not? I still want to spend as much time with my friends as possible, go out and do cute things together, which you could refer to as dates.
I do. I would 100% call them dates all the time.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going on a date.
Yeah.
I'm going shopping with my friend. And then we're going to have dinner. It's a date.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, my last question here. This film essentially portrays a 24/7 kink dynamic, which many people do actually engage in within their dom-sub relationships. Is the constant performance something that seems truly doable for anyone, not just for the characters in this movie, but like, is that feasible, or does it prevent people from engaging with the other aspects of themselves?
I love this question.
Thank you.
I mean, there is something in this movie. I love the normalizing of the everyday, and I mean normalizing that in a broader sense, but normalizing that sort of everyday aspect, which we don't see that often in cinema, especially like in this genre of movies. It is wild across the board of ones that are successful, are not successful, are very problematic, are pretty much, are for the most part pretty great. There's not a great selection. We're still working on this genre of cinema in a big way, but I think this does a really good job with it. But all that to say, I don't know. I think if it's a lifestyle choice from both parties, and it's like, yeah, this is why this works, we're going all in, but you are putting part of yourself aside for someone else. Both parties are. And of course, that's a choice, but it seems tough. It seems difficult to me as someone who's always wants everyone to tell their truth as much as possible. But maybe that is your truth. So it's like, who am I to say, like, if this is, I'm going all in, this is all me. But I'd never want someone to like squash them, dim their light for someone else so they can shine brighter in any capacity, unless that's what they want and they are into it. So it's like, but it's very complicated. And that goes back to the line you were saying about, I wouldn't resent you, I love you. So you don't ever want that to come into play.
Right. Yeah, and so this relationship I've been talking about with my former bestie, and like we're still casual friends, and like I said, I'm still doing her chores, I'm doing her shopping and stuff, so I'm still kind of her service sub, but there's no joy in it for me anymore. There's no sense of fulfillment. And I think one of the things I'm realizing about a relationship is that I was kind of in a 24/7 sub role. And while I'm okay with that, there was no aftercare the way a dom would normally care for their sub.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it got really unhealthy. And like the only reason I'm talking about this so candidly on here is because I know she doesn't listen to my podcast. She supports my music and is happy that I do this, but she doesn't listen to my podcasts. And I'm trying not to shit talk her or anything. I'm just talking about the reality of the situation. And I think it was just something that she doesn't know how to provide. And maybe she was better at it when we were still romantically entangled as well. And it was harder for her once that part of our relationship faded or changed. And I don't know, like the idea of belonging to someone and not in a monogamous type way, but just like belonging to someone and feeling like you are theirs and you will do everything you can for them, everything they want you to do within the constraints of the relationship that you have set up. They need to reciprocate that. And they need to take care of you in return. And they need to be able to take a break when they want. Like I said, we see that with Cynthia. We see that this is not a performance that she can maintain 24/7 because it requires a lot of work on her part, because it's not just her natural state of being.
And she needs to refill the cup.
Yeah.
She needs to, if you can
she
tell
needs
it,
her back rubbed.
It takes, exactly.
She needs to be in the
she's
pajamas
happy to do it.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep, but needs to fill the cup back up so she can continue doing it.
Yeah,
When you're performing 24/7, I mean, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. If it is a performance, that is, for those of us who are neurodiverse and a lot of the masking that you will do on your day to day, and it's just like, I can't do it anymore. Like I just can't. Like you said, I need that cup to be refilled. One of the things that was really funny, I think, in relationship to this question was when I watched Blood Sisters, Patrick had said, you know what? The people who are doms all the time, psychos. If you want to do that all the time, we have to have a sense of humor about this. This is what he was really getting at. It was like, we have to have a sense of humor about this. We put on all these outfits. We drag 80 pounds of equipment into our homes with the hope we're going to get off. What are we even doing? This is wonderful and just ridiculous. But the idea of the constant dom, I found that very just a funny thing for him to say in that moment. I was like, oh.
Yeah. I want there to be humor and levity involved in my kink because I want it to feel fun. I want it to feel enjoyable. Like, you can be like, oh, you're a bad girl and you need to be punished. And then when I take enough punishment, the last person that I was dating, who I'm now very close friends with, Sarah, anytime she would hit me with something, she would giggle. And that honestly, and I know that would break the illusion for some people, but for me, it was so enjoyable because I'm like, oh, I can really tell she's enjoying herself. And I'm still getting the domination that I want without it feeling overwhelming.
Yeah.
And to your point, Chelsea, as well, where if that is something, though, that both parties are really into and can maintain, go for it.
Yeah.
But again, keep checking in with people. Keep checking in.
Yeah.
Always check in.
Yeah. There's
check-ins.
nothing wrong with having those state of the union or state of the relationship conversations to make sure everyone is still on the same page.
Yes. So important.
And speaking of guidelines and rules, I think it's time to play a game.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Okay, Caitlin, what's our game this week?
So this week, we're going to break the code. And by
The
that, I
hanky
mean
code?
the hanky code!
Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your
No,
line.
you didn't. You got the first one right, May. So I found a list from a lesbian publication called On Our Backs, which from 1984. There are some differences in this from your standard gay man, male, typical. I don't know why I said that. Typical. Where did that come from?
We're going to cover cruising eventually, but I'll just never get over the fact that Pacino's character buys a yellow hanky. Dude, you could have bought what's blowjob? Light blue?
I think that would be.
He could have bought the blowjob hanky and put it on the receiving side, and he could have gotten a free blowjob instead of someone getting mad at him because he didn't want to piss on them.
Yeah.
So, in case someone is listening is like, I have no idea what you all are talking about, the hanky code is a system pretty much telling people what you like, what you don't like, and which, if you want to be in kind of a receiving or giving in regards to sexual acts, specifically for LGBTQ individuals. If you didn't know, homosexual sex of all kinds was illegal in the United States in most places. And so this was another way of kind of connecting with your community as well and being able to give those signals to people in a way that wouldn't get you arrested. It is said to have actually started in the 1800s San Francisco gold rush when there weren't enough women for dances. So if you were going to be a leader or a follower, you would wear a hanky in either your left or your right pocket so people would know which role you were going to be playing. Well, Nancy.
I love that. That's so wholesome.
I know, right? This is where it started, and then look at what we did to it. We made it so much better. This is what I'm going to do. So I have just a couple of, this is also specifically sapphic, just a few. I'm going to pop them in to the outline, which is not what I usually do, and then it gets really, really confusing. So I have 5 different kinds of hankies, and I want you all to put the sex act that we have to the color. So I will also read out the colors for people.
So we're matching.
We're matching! I love matching.
Oh, I love this.
So what we have is, we have fist fucker or fucky. That was what I was going to say. So left is the top position and right is the bottom. So you're a fist fucker or fucky. This one, Victorian scenes, top, bottom. And I went, what? I know, like Chelsea's face. What? Victorian scenes.
I know what I want to flag now.
Oh, please tell me that's white lace.
Is there one for Victorian vampire scenes? Because that's what I want. I feel like that has to be white lace. I hope so.
If it's not, I'll be crushed.
We have heavy S&M and whipping, top, bottom. Piercer, Pierce E, which I just have to say, that's one of the things that when I do go to lifestyle clubs, I like hardcore kink nights. I'm like, I can't, anything going into the skin really like gets me. I like, good for y'all.
I don't know if I'd ever want to do that, but I do like blood play.
Yes. I know you do. Yes, you do, May. And then this one was really fun. Breast fondler, fondue.
Interesting.
Then our colors are black, purple, pink, red, and white lace.
Okay. I know where I want all of these. Chelsea, do you want to go first?
If they're right or not, though.
Right.
Okay, well, white lace, I would hope that was Victorian scenes, but that's maybe wishful thinking.
Yeah. I agree with that. So in men's situations, fisting is red. But I don't know if it's the same here. So, but I mean, like, I don't know. I kind of want to guess red.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that too.
Okay. And then in heavy S&M is black.
Black, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like pink for breast fondling makes a lot of sense.
And purple for piercing?
Yeah. Yeah. That.
I'll go with that. I'll second that.
Okay, cool. How'd we do?
You nailed it.
Hell
that is
yeah.
all correct.
What?
Yep.
No!
Yeah. 100%
Yes.
nailed it. Yes, the white lace.
That is so affirming.
I did it. There was not one for vampires, but I wanted to say white lace. Maybe if you put like a dot of red on it, maybe that would be like a. There might be something there too.
A ruby. It should be with a ruby on it.
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
It's like a red board.
Caitlin, I need you to make me a white lace hanky with like fake ruby stones on it. Can you make that for me? Caitlin is a fiber artist, if you did not know, and they are very talented.
Yes,
I love it.
I am going to do this maybe tonight.
Okay,
this is so much fun.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can that be 2? Because that's an order of 2.
Yes. Yes. I will.
Hell yes.
Everyone gets vampire white lace Victorian scene hankies. I am so excited about this.
Yes, please.
I think this is my favorite game we've done so far.
It is
just great.
Kudos, everyone.
Thank you.
Love this. And as we are talking tops and bottomses and pleasing and punishing, how would you all categorize this movie? Is it a pleaser or a punisher?
Oh, God. I don't know.
I was definitely kinky and queer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this movie is kind of a switch. I think the genuine sapphic nature of it, the just stunning beauty of it on a technical level make it so pleasing.
Yeah.
But obviously for me, the emotional aspect was extremely punishing and extremely I feel like this movie wrenched open my chest and was like licking my heart.
Oh.
If that metaphor makes sense.
Well.
What do you think, Chelsea?
I would agree with that. I definitely feel the to me, it's so, everything about this movie is so pleasing on so many different levels. Mm-hmm. It's almost like Switch is like a warning for people who, if they are are dealing with things that it could trigger or whatnot. So a Switch makes sense to me. For me personally, it's definitely a pleaser.
Excellent.
Such an incredible, beautiful film.
It is. What about you, Caitlin?
It is. It is one of those, like, this is a pleaser for me through and through. I mean, I also like a movie that isn't clear cut. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is going to stick with you, that you do think about, that the answers aren't handed to you on a platter. It's not Netflix just reinforcing whatever the plot is every so often.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So for me, this is definitely a pleaser. I have no idea how the general public feels.
Yeah.
We know through IMDb and Letterboxd what the general.
Well, there you go. How dare you all?
Not one of us.
One of us. Any final thoughts that we have on this movie?
Thank you for getting me to watch this. I'm so glad that I finally got to see this, and I think even though it hurt, I think it's one of those painful steps on my journey to healing and helping me see even more that the dynamic in that relationship that I was having wasn't the healthiest. And I'm definitely going to be revisiting this movie, and I'm trying to find a copy of the score on vinyl, but all of the ones on Discogs are coming from people in Europe or the UK, so it's going to cost me like $60 or something, unfortunately.
I need to look up where I got mine.
I think it's out of print. Yeah, I think the problem is it's out of print because Milan Records put it out. And
yes, okay.
Yeah, and they do a good job. I have several records that they've released, and I think it's just they haven't done a second pressing.
Breaks my heart.
If anyone out there could make that change.
Yes,
that'd be
please.
Great. I'm so glad I got to talk about this movie because a lot of times inherently I'm always thinking, I need to pick a genre movie because that's what people expect for me. But it's so refreshing when I get to talk about these kind of movies and getting the word out there about these movies, this movie in particular, for people to seek it out, and Peter's other work, some of which you can find on 2 of his films you can find on Shudder. And Canopy, and Duke of Burgundy is also on Mubi, if you have Mubi. Oh, it was just such a delight to rewatch this, and very inspiring. I'm about to direct something next weekend, so it was very inspiring for me to see it. And so to revisit great cinema where again, the director is in control, is taking such good care of those actors. They are there for him in every capacity. The communication is there, and there's an abstractness to it that I love. I know he has talked about the script versus an editing, changing the, not order of events, but the structures a little bit. He's moved that all over the place. You're seeing things where you're like, is this a new day or is this from the beginning? And we're just seeing another side of it. Like, I loved all of that. And it's just beautifully made. Just, no notes. Just incredible. And I can't wait to see what he does next, especially when you think about some of the films that were coming out in 2014 and 2015, this one just really stands out to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I think I had written down Nylon's Feet Hot. So that was
the seam up the back, like the nylons with the seam up the back. The lingerie in this movie is fucking next level. Beautiful, expensive, just opulent. It's just so gorgeous and excessive and so hot and beautifully made and constructed. And looks exhausting to wear, but please, I love it. I have a crazy collection myself, so I'm like here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want so much like 50s style lingerie because I love the construction of those garments. Mm-hmm. And I love the idea of them. And like, I actually really like wearing a corset. It helps with my posture.
Yeah.
And it makes my tits look even better. So like win-win.
Win-win for everyone.
Yeah,
yeah,
truly.
Seriously.
Okay, well, speaking of being wrapped up in a corset, I think it's time for us to wrap up with what awaits you next time.
Don't you see? He's got us now. Okay, this is exactly what he wants. We can't go to the police, not now. He's made sure of that. He's just out there and he's watching us and waiting. What are you waiting for, huh? What are you waiting for?
And that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks so much for joining us on this journey, fellow travelers. If you like what you hear, please leave us a rating and review wherever you can, because it helps more people find the show and it makes us all tingly inside. You can find us on Instagram at Pleasers and Punishers and on Blue Sky at Pleasers Punishers. You can also email us at pleaserspunisherspodcast@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Everson Poe. You can hear me podcasting on Tender Subject and Slayerfest 98. And as of this evening recording, you can order my latest album, Enough is a Myth, which is inspired by Hellraiser 2022, on vinyl. Yes. So please go to my Bandcamp, eversonpoe.bandcamp.com, and get a copy. I paid for this out of my own pocket, and I was already poor before I did that. So I need to make this money back. And also, it's a really good album. I'm really proud of it. And I hope that people will seek it out now that it's available on a piece of physical media.
So excited. You can find me at Caitlin of the North on Blue Sky and Instagram, and Cat of the North on Letterboxd.
And Chelsea, do you have anything coming up that you want to talk about? Do you have socials that you want people to reach out to you on?
Yes, I'm only on Instagram, which is just at Chelasea Stardust. Very simple. I don't have Letterboxd or anything that would tempt me to look at what people are saying about my own work. But I do post all the movies I watch on my Instagram, so you can see all the crazy movies I watch. I think I watched like 380 last year. So I watch a lot of movies.
Nice.
I got up to almost 600.
That's incredible.
Last year.
I'm so impressed.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that. And then what am I working at? So last year was like very crazy year. So I'm a director, writer, and producer. I've been producing a lot. I produced 3 short films and for friends, and then 1 commercial. And then I produced and co-directed a feature film called Grind that we just found out somewhat recently got into South by Southwest and will have its world premiere there.
Congratulations!
Very excited about that. And then I'm directing. I wrote and I'm directing something next weekend that is. I can't say anything about it yet. So I'm sure it'll be announced and it will be hitting festivals in the fall. But I can't talk about that. I am a piece of what that is. So,
okay. Well, that's all very exciting.
Yeah. And then prepping to hopefully shoot a feature in the Midwest in the summer. So I'm manifesting that very hard. That I'm directing and wrote with my writing partner, who's also my life partner, Sean.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Well, that's really exciting. And thank you again so much for coming on and talking with us about this.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a joy, and you are welcome back anytime you would like to come back. Take a look at that movie list again and let us know. And you know what? If there's something you want to talk about with us that's not on there, let us know. We're very open to suggestions, and this was just like such a wonderful discussion. So
I loved it.
I'm very glad you could be here for it.
Yes.
Thank you for asking me. I'm honored.
Yeah, of course. Well, next week's episode is going to be on Park Chan-wook's The Handmaiden, a movie that I love, and I am very excited to watch the extended version of that Maeve got on Blu-ray.
Of course.
Of course.
Oh,
but until then, do some aftercare, clean your toys, set healthy boundaries, and
an asterisk.